Over my 56 years, I've experienced all kinds of relationships. Relationships with my children, with my spouse, with my ex-wife, my spiritual partner, my mother and father, my friends and community. You get the picture. And I've met with all kinds of experiences around them. Some good, some deeply painful, some challenging, some blissful, some deeply intimate. So there's all kinds of relationships that we experience. But one of the things that I found most often that provides actually the greatest insight of how we can get into a deeper relationship with everything we do, be it a boss, a child, a mother, a wife, a partner, whatever it may be. And one of the things I found, it always began with myself. Am I connected in a relationship with myself? Do I feel the love of who I am? And for much of my life, and through many of my relationships, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so to speak, I found that I was not in a relationship with myself, that I found myself in need of something from another. I found myself wanting to be seen by another or heard. And what this created was a disconnect in building the kind of relationships that I want to share with you today about. And those kind of relationships are the ones that are purposeful, meaningful, loving, and also relationships that provide for greater collaboration, greater co-creation, and just bring a greater sense of purpose and happiness into our lives. And what I'd like to share with you is essentially there are 4 kinds of relationships. And think about this as it relates to the relationships you have in your life, be it with a spouse or a working mate or a boss or whatever that relationship may look like. And those 4 are: 1 is role mate, 2, soulmate, 3, whole mate, 4, divine mate. Let me share a little bit about each one of those, real simply. Most of our relationships are based on roles: husband, wife, father, daughter, boss, employee, these type of relationships. And they generally define us into certain role stereotypes. Many relationships are challenged, I should say, by these type of relationships because we struggle for deeper intimacy and deeper meaning in those relationships. 2 is soulmate. These are relationships where we feel that spark, that inspiration. We feel a deeper connection with one another. It just doesn't happen between intimate partners. This can happen anywhere with anyone. You feel that soul connection, that purposeful connection with one another. The 3rd one is whole mate. This is when we are in relationships in which there is a greater collaboration. We're in greater service to one another. How is it that I can support you in your expansion, so to speak? How is it that we can connect with one another to do more good in the world? These are whole mate relationships. And 4thly are divine relationships. These are relationships that transcend our human nature. In other words, we feel the deeper divinity of ourselves as we connect into a place of oneness. Oneness with one another, oneness with Mother Nature, for example. Divine relationships can come through our deeper connectivity to nature or the natural world, or even to an animal that we love so deeply. And divine relationships are devoted to something deep within us, deep within our soul, to the love of who we are and the love of what our lives mean together. So those are the 4 relationships. And I encourage you to reflect upon those relationships in 2 ways. 1, think of them as yourself. Are you playing a role? Or 2, really think of them in your relationship with your outer world. How are you relating to the outer world? Anyway, I hope that's helpful in helping you to identify the type of relationship that you're in with yourself and with others.